Hi guys, welcome back again to the channel. Today we are going to make a basic jumpsuit, a basic palazzo jumpsuit. So this is the material I'm going to use for the palazzo jumpsuit. It's an African print material. So by palazzo jumpsuit, I mean that the trouser part of the jumpsuit is going to be free. It's not going to be pencil. So guys, jumpsuit basically means that we are going to join the half length and the down part, the palazzo part together. So it's just the joining of the half length and trouser. That is basically what a jumpsuit means. So I'm going to start by cutting out the half length, that is the upper part, and after cutting the upper part, we'll cut the down part, which is the trouser part. So without wasting much time, I'm going to cut out the half length. And as usual, to cut out the half length, I'm going to make use of two measurements quickly. I'm going to make use of two measurements, the half length and the bust measurement. So guys, to cut the half length, which is the upper part, I've placed my material on fold, and the half length I'm working with is 17 inches. So please, I want you to note an important point here. When you're making your jumpsuit, the half length is going to be 1 inch more than the normal half length, as in when you're making your peplum top. For instance, you use 16, like me, I use 16 inches as my half length. That is 3 inches below my under bust for me. So that's your normal half length when you're making a peplum top should not be the same when you're making a jumpsuit, so that the trouser will not look funny. So it's going to be 1 inch more than your original half length. I hope you understand what I mean. So in my case, my half length is usually 16 inches, but I'm going to add 1 inch to that, making it 17 inches. So my half length in this case is going to be 17 inches because we are making a jumpsuit. 17, I'll be adding 2 inches for allowance, making it 19. Vertically like this, I'll measure 19 inches. Then horizontally towards this side, I'm going to measure my bust circumference. That is my round bust measurement, which is 40 for me. 40 inches divided by 2 because the material is on fold, which will give us 20. I'll be adding extra 8 inches allowance. If you want, you can add extra 6 inches allowance. So let's add extra 8 inches here. And then this will cover for zip and all the allowances. So this is what we need for the half length. I'll just open up this side. And I'm going to fold again as usual, or fold like this and fold like this. So this is my zip allowance, 2 inches. So this is the back side while this is the front side. So I'm going to start right away. I'll start by adding my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 16 divided by 2, 8. Then my neck width, the neck width I'm working with for this palazzo is going to be 4 inches. 4 inches. So I'll come down by 1 inch and connect for shoulder slope because our shoulders are not straight. Then I'm going to mark ½ inch for joining allowance. joining the two shoulders, the front and the back shoulders. I've done these basic bodies before, so we're not going to waste much time on it. So from here, so this is my shoulder here. From this shoulder allowance, I'll take my armhole depth, which is 8 inches. To get your armhole depth, you measure your round armhole and divide by 2. Whatever you have will be your armhole depth, or your bust circumference divide by 6 plus 1.5. So I'm going to connect. Connect like this. So to draw the armhole curve, I'll take the center, the midpoint of the armhole depth, which is 4. Then I'm going to go inward by half an inch for front side. And for back side, I'll just connect like this. So I'll take it up. And I'm going to curve like this. But before we do the curving, I'll place my bust circumference here, which is 40 divided by 4, 10. So I'm going to draw the curve to meet this point. So this is my armhole for the front. I'm going to connect from here to here for the back side. I hope it's clear enough. So this is the back armhole, this is the front armhole. It's as simple as that. So the next thing I'll do now is to add my dart. For me to add my dart, I'm going to measure from this shoulder allowance to my bust point. My bust point is 10 inches. And this will be my bust line. Then at that point, I'm going to measure my bust span, my bust space, which is nipple to nipple. For me is 3.5 plus half inch, making it 4. So the 4 inches, I'll bring it here at the half length. So this is the bust point. This is the bust point. I'm going to come down by 1 inch or 1.5. I'll come down by 1 inch. And I'll connect. So this is because I wouldn't want the dart to be at the top, at the nipple point. So that's why I came down by 1 inch. So I'll take my dart, half inch at both sides. Half inch here, and connect. So this is my dart. For the back side, you can take your dart here or even run upwards. But for the front side, this is how your dart should be. You can go down by 1 inch or 1.5 inches. So here I have my bust circumference. I'm going to add 2 inches allowance here. Two inches allowance. Then here I'm going to measure my waist. My waist measurement here is 35 inches. 35 divided by 4 will give us 8.75. Then I mark. And here I'm going to add this 1 inch for that. I'll replace this dart here. Plus 2 inches sewing allowance, we'll have 3 inches here. I'm going to connect these 2 points. So this is it. Then at this point, I'll add my neckline. I already added neck width here, which is 4 inches. So for the front side, my neck depth is going to be 7 inches. Then I mark. I would like to make a V neckline. I'll make it to have a small curve. So I'm going to connect like this instead of straight. So this is my V for the front side, and for the back side it will be a high neck, so I'm going to make it 2 inches. Then I'm going to connect. This is for the back neckline, while this is for the front neckline. So guys, the next thing I'll do now is to cut. But before I cut, I'm going to give a notch here so that I will know where my dart for the back side is going to be. So we are going to cut it out now. I'll cut the back armhole first. When I remove the back side, I'm going to trim the front armhole. So we are done with the upper part of the palazzo jumpsuit. The next thing I'll do now is to cut the down part, which is the pants. And I'm going to cut the front part. After cutting the front, I'll use it to cut the back side. I've placed my material on fold using the thigh measurement, which is the biggest after division, because we'll divide the thigh measurement by 2, not by 4. So my thigh measurement is 26 divided by 2 will give me 13 inches plus extra 3 inches. So altogether what I have here is 16 inches. So I have 16 inches on fold. So the next thing we are going to do is to take the length of the jumpsuit. The length of my jumpsuit is 58. So I'm going to remove the half length, which is 17 inches here. Which is 17 inches here. So this space here will be my joining allowance. The allowance I'll use to join to the half length. So here is 17 inches minus 17 inches, which is the half length. I'll take the length. The full length of the palazzo for me is 58 inches. And I'll be adding 2 inches for allowance, making it 60. The total length is going to be 60 inches. Which is here. I've marked my length here, 60 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to start adding my measurements. Here I have my half length, which is from shoulder to 17, my half length here. Then from my shoulder to my waist measurement is 19 inches. So this is my actual waist measurement. This is upper waist measurement. This half length measurement here, it's not at the navel point. This 19 inches for me is at the navel point, which is the actual waist line. I hope you understand. From shoulder to waist, 19. While this is the half length. So the distance between the two lines is 2 inches. So this distance is, this 2 inches is the space between the navel area and the upper waist, which is where the half length is going to stop. So it's very important you acknowledge this space. So from this waistline, I'm going to measure my crotch depth. This is my waistline. From this waistline, I'm going to measure my crotch depth. To get my crotch depth, I'm going to divide my hip measurement, that is hip circumference, divided by 4. Whatever I have will be my crotch depth. So my hip is 43, divided by 4 will give me 10.75. So 10.75 is going to be my crotch depth. So I'm going to mark it here, 10.75 is here. I only have my waistline and my crotch depth line. I did not add hip line. If you want, you can add hip line, but it's not necessary. So this is my waistline. If I want to measure from this half length to the crotch depth, I'm going to have 12.75. This will be my crotch depth now, from here to here, 12.75, because of these 2 inches. And because we are making a jumpsuit, if you are making a trouser, then from here to here is not necessary. We'll just stop from here. I hope it's clear. So at this waistline, I'm going to add my hip measurement, my hip circumference. My hip circumference is 43. Divide by 4 will give me 10.75. Then I mark. I'm going to add 1 inch for ease. Then I'm going to measure what I have here and place it at the crotch depth line. So what I have here is 12 inches. I'm going to place it at the crotch depth line, 12 inches, and mark. So I'll connect with a straight line to this point. Remember, this is my joining allowance. So having gotten the crotch line, we're going to draw the crotch curve here. And to do that, I'm going to impute my thigh measurement on this crotch depth line. So my thigh measurement is 26. Divide by 2. Remember, divide by 2 will give me 13 inches. 13 inches. I'm going to be adding 1 inch for ease, making it 14 inches. So altogether, what I have here is 2 inches extension. So to draw my curve, I'm going to go upwards by 3 inches like this, and I'm going to make a curve from here to here. And in order for the curve not to be too deep, I'm going to come at this corner and measure 1 inch outside like this. So I'll connect from here to here to here with a very slight curve. Don't make it too deep. So this is my crotch curve for the front side. I'm going to add my waist measurement at this line. At this line here. Remember, this line is the half length line. So I'll add my waist measurement from here like this, not like this. So my waist measurement here is 35. 35 divided by 4 will give us 8.75. I'm going to be adding 1 inch for that, making it 9.75. 9.75. If you don't want to add that, then there's no need adding that allowance. Okay, so from this point, I'm going to connect to the crotch depth. It's a very slight curve like this. So this is what I have. So we're going to go over to this part to get the trouser leg, the palazzo leg. So to do that, you can just, from this line, you can just cut it straight down, and then from here you can just cut it straight down. If you want it very big, if you want it very, very big, just from here go down straight, and from here go down straight. But because I don't want it that big, what I will do now is from here, I'm going to measure this line, and I have 14 inches here. I'm going to divide it by 2 to give me 7. Here I'm going to measure the same 7 inches, which is the center. Then I'll connect with a straight line. So this straight line will help me get a very good shape of the palazzo leg. So the next thing I'm going to do, I want the wideness of the palazzo to be 22 inches. I don't want it too big. You know, from here to here is 14. So 22 divided by 2 will give us 11 instead of 14. You understand? So from here to here is 14. And then 22 divided by 2 will give us 11. I don't want it 14, which is from here to here. So the leg, my own leg, is going to be 22 inches. So I'm going to divide 22 inches by 2 to get 11. And then I'll come to the center line here. I'll share the 11 there. So what I'll measure here is 5.5 towards this side and 5.5 towards this side, making it 11. So from this point, I'll connect to this place, and from here, I'll connect to this place. It's as simple as that. So feel free to do as you want. If you want your palazzo to be big, then there's no need doing this thing that I'm doing. You just connect from here. You just cut straight. There's no need doing this. So this is the wideness I want for the palazzo. So I'm going to add my sewing allowance and cut. I'll be adding only 1/2 inch for my sewing allowance. And then to do that, I'll just shift this. I'll just shift this to get 1/2 inch here because I didn't mark out a starting point line here. So here I have 1/2 inch here. I have 1/2 inch here. So this is my markings. I'm going to cut with sewing allowance of 1/2 inch. So for me to draw my dart, I'm going to use my bust span for my dart. The same thing I did at the half length. So my bust span is 4. Then I mark. Then I'm going to measure my dart length. So my dart length is going to be 6 inches. And I'll connect. Half inch on both sides. So this is my dart. The next thing I'll do again is to draw my pocket. From this line, I'll measure 2 inches for my pocket opening. And the length of my pocket is going to be 7 inches from here. I'll make a curve. So this is my pocket opening. I'm going to add some allowance, a little allowance here to join the pocket. So this is it for the front. I'm going to cut out the pocket after cutting the back side. So guys, we're going to cut the back side. This side, this is how I folded the material, because if I fold it with the width of the Ankara, it will not be enough. So I decided to fold it like this. So this is the front part. I'll just place the front part like this, leaving this space here, and then this space here. All of them, all these spaces is going to be useful here. So the only thing I'm going to do for the back is to add extra allowances, because the back is bigger than the front because of the butt. So at the crotch depth line, I'll add extra 2 inches here. 2 inches here. And I'll add here, I'll add 1 inch. Extra 1 inch. I hope you can see it. This chalk here. So I have 1 inch, 2 inches for the allowance at the back. So here again, I'm going to add 1 inch. So I'll connect. So I'll measure what I have here at the front side, at the waist front side, at the waistline of the front side. I will measure what I have here, and what I have here is 11 inches. So I'm going to replace it like this. So this is my 11 inches for the back side, so that the waist is going to correspond because of this allowance. Okay, and I'm going to extend this place for the back side. I will extend it by the difference between hip measurement and hip circumference and thigh circumference after division. So what I mean is this. So what I mean is my hip measurement is 43 divided by 4, which will give us 10.75, and my thigh is 26 divided by 2, which will give us 13. So 13 minus 10.75 give us 2.25. So I'll extend this place by 2.25. So I'm going to measure 2.25 here and mark. So this is what I have. So I'm going to connect this from here to here. So if you want a detailed tutorial on how to cut a female pants, pencil female pants, I have the video in the channel. You can check it out and watch. Everything you need to know on how to cut a female pants is well explained there. After watching it, I bet you will surely learn how to cut it after watching that video. So this is what I have for the back side. The next thing I'll do now is to draw my curve here. So before I draw my curve here, I'm going to come down from this line. This line, you know, this is straight line from the front crotch depth. I'll come down by ½ inch like this to get a very slight curve for the back side. This is optional. I like doing my own here like this, but if you don't want, you can just make your curve from here. I'm going to draw the curve like this, and then to this line, this 3 inches here for the front side. Remember these 3 inches, I came up by 3 inches to draw the curve for the front side. So I'll make a curve to that point, so that same 3 inches. So this is the curve for the back side, and I'm going to shift this and connect it to this place. It's a straight line. So this is what I have for the back side. So the next thing I'll do is to add my zip allowance for the back side. You know, I added zip allowance at the half length. I added 2 inches zip allowance. So I'm going to still add my 2 inches zip allowance here at the back side of the trouser. So this is 2 inches. I'll take it to 9 inches. So this is 2 inches for zip allowance. So I'll connect. If you want, you can add 1.5 inches for your zip allowance. So this is my zip allowance for the back side. I'll cut like this. I'll draw my dart for the back side. So I'm going to measure what I have here. What I have here is 4.5 inches plus this allowance, 4.5 inches. I'll place it here. 4.5, and here 4.5. that will connect. So the dart is going to stop here at this place, so which is 8 inches. That will be the length of the dart. So 1/2 inch on both sides. So coming to the leg, so the only thing I will do here is to add only 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, and 1/2 inch here. Remember the front side already has the sewing allowance, so we'll not add another sewing allowance. From the 1/2 inch I added at this down part, I'm going to connect it to this line here, this allowance here. So I'll connect, and coming to this side, from this 1/2 inch down here, I'll connect to this point. So this is basically it for the back side. Then I'll cut. So this is the back side. I'm going to notch the dart so that when we are sewing it, so the next thing I'll do is to cut out the pocket. The next thing we are going to do now is to cut the pocket itself with the front side, while we keep the back side. So guys, for the pocket, I have 7 inches on fold. Then the length of the pocket is going to be 15 inches. So I'm going to curve this side like this. The two of them. After curving it, I'll open it up. I'll open it up like this. And I'll place the front side. I'm going to place the front. I'll place it like this and then cut. The pocket is going to be like this. It's going to be like this. I'm going to match it up like this. So this is how the pocket will be. So we're going to measure the waist. What I have here initially was 11 inches and curve, so that after joining it, it will not be more. This place will not be more. So this will be my pocket. So we are done with cutting the pocket. So guys, we are going to stop here. In our next tutorial, we are going to be sewing the jumpsuit, and during the sewing, we are going to cut the sleeve. That's the sleeve on the palazzo jumpsuit. That's a basic sleeve with balloon. We are going to cut it in our next tutorial while we are sewing the jumpsuit. All right. So thank you so much for watching. If you find this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to join the family. Till next time, for now, it is bye bye.